All right, YouTube, here we go. Wish me luck. My eye is twitching. It has been twitching all day, so we're going to see if I can do this without losing my sanity. This is a weekly update for November 3rd to November 9th, and I just wanted to go over a bunch of the news. It was quite a big week, so let's just hop right into it. Quick little follow-up to last week's video where I mentioned the drag times video for the Model S against the Porsche Taycan. Top Gear came out with a follow-up response saying basically that the numbers they used for their video or their test was not from the video that they'd taken, but from a previous video from back in 2017, because those were the best numbers they've ever had. But that was Top Gear's response to the video. Drag Times did a follow-up video. Brooks did, again, a fantastic job sharing what his thoughts were and things like that. So I'll include a link below so you can watch that video. It's very well done. I highly recommend watching it. The Model S hit the Nürburgring and got a hand-recorded time of 7 minutes 13 seconds, which is 29 seconds better than the Porsche Taycan had for hand record. Nothing official from either company, but this is what we have released so far. So speaking of the plaid version of the Model S, which is at the Nürburgring, or was at the Nürburgring, Elon tweeted about that, saying that it will have a greater capacity than 100 kilowatt hours, which is the maximum that the Model S and X have right now. Nobody knows official numbers yet. My guess is going to be around 120 kilowatt hours, but we'll see in the future. All right, and speaking of Twitter, Elon came out and said that the Cybertruck will be unveiled on the 21st of this month, so just 11 days away. I'm not sure how to feel about this, just because Elon has said that it's very cyberpunk, very futuristic. It looks like it's something out of Blade Runner. Also said that it's going to be literally bulletproof and look like an armored personnel carrier. So all I can think of is like Guardia and Brinks trucks and trying to see how that could be like a pickup truck. So I'm really torn on how this is going to look. I'm excited but nervous. We'll see on the 21st. All right, so hopping over to the Model 3 really quick. This last week there was a software update that changed the maximum charge throughput from 100 kilowatts to 170. This only applies to the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, and Mid-Range. The long range and performance already could do 250 kilowatts, but it's a nice change to see for the lower end variants. And speaking of Model 3, there has been a new EPA estimate that shows up for the 2020 versions. The Performance Model 3 actually gets 3 different tiers of range. It shows different ranges for the 18, 19, and 20-inch wheels. So for the 18-inch wheels, 322 miles. For the 19-inch, it's going to be 304. And for the 20-inch wheels, you're looking at about 299. This means that going from the 18-inch to the 20-inch wheels, you lose about 7.5% of the range. Is it worth the trade-off? It's up to you. And speaking of EPA range, the 2020 variants show a long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3, which Tesla no longer sells, but this one has a 330-mile range. The previous was 310 miles, so I'm trying to figure out where this extra 20 miles comes from. The efficiency for the MPGe is the exact same, but somehow it has 20 extra miles. Couldn't really figure out if it has a bigger battery. Maybe this is something that we're going to see in the future. Who knows? And since we're still on the subject of Model 3s, before I move on, the Chinese Gigafactory 3 has started to produce Model 3s. Now, they're not for sale yet because they're still waiting on a few legal things to finalize, but there are at least 3 dozen that have been produced. There's some pretty nice photos. Shout out to Jang in Shanghai on Twitter, who included these. And honestly, I'm wishing that Gigafactory 3 was producing the Model Y so I could get my Model Y sooner. So congratulations to Gigafactory 3, all the employees there, Tesla, everybody. This is a really big milestone to go from being a mud pit about 10 months ago to actually producing beautiful Model 3s now. Really, hats off to you. And Model 3 inventory when it comes to used Model 3s is basically non-existent. A couple weeks ago I checked and there were hundreds of them. As of right now, I could only find one of them. I don't know where they all are, but there are slim pickings when it comes to used Model 3s on the Tesla website. Also, I have to correct myself from last week. So I mentioned the 2019.36.1 software update that included the performance upgrade and the one-pedal driving. This only applies to 2019 Raven editions of the Model S and X, and then Model 3s. So if you have a 2018 or older Model S or X, sorry, you don't get the performance update, and you also don't get the one-pedal driving. And my understanding is that this is because of the motors that are used. So the Model 3 and then the newer S and X get a permanent magnet motor, where the older versions don't have that. And it's because of that that one pedal driving doesn't actually work. They can't actually implement that. But I could be wrong. Please, if I am, let me know. I'd like to make sure that I'm giving out correct information. Two other little updates really quick. As far as I know, there was only one spotting of a Model Y. It was near the Kennedy Space Station just yesterday. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. We had so many leaks that had happened over the past few weeks, and then all of a sudden they just dropped off. So hopefully we see some more Model Ys and that they start being produced sooner than anticipated. The other little thing is two-factor authentication. So Tesla is finally starting to roll this out. I'm really excited that they're going to be doing this. I wish they'd done it a long time ago, but I'm grateful for the change now. So look forward to two-factor authentication coming out on the Tesla website and the Tesla app here pretty soon. Quick little side note, if you want to buy a Tesla 2020 Roadster 1/18 scale diecast, you can now do that from the Tesla store. It's $250. So now I'm torn on if I want to get 1,000 of those or the Roadster. No, I'm just kidding. And then a quick Supercharger update. So this past week, there were 19 changes in total. So here they are. There are 2 locations that got permits. Both were in the United States. There are now 10 stations or locations under construction. There are 6 of them in the US, 1 in France, 1 in Canada, 1 in Spain, and 1 in Norway. There are 6 new locations that have opened. 2 are in the US, 1 in Sweden, 1 in Hong Kong, 1 in the UK, and 1 in Canada. And then there is 1 temporarily closed in Canada as well. For anybody who's been trying to follow the Trans-Canada route of Superchargers, it looks like that's actually happening. If you look at this little map here, you can see that there is construction from one end all the way to the other, basically. And now this might actually be possible. When they're targeting completion, I have no idea. Hopefully by year's end, so people can go and visit family when it comes to the holidays, but at least there's being progress made. Anyways, that's it for this weekly update of Tesla news for November 3rd to November 9th. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Please share and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you in the next one.